All right. Hey guys, welcome to our Monday Night Dream Team Zoom. I'm going to go over just a couple of things that are coming up that I want to make sure that we're, all ready for and all that good stuff. And then I'm going to talk about utilizing a lot of what we've learned. Like, what is it? The analysis paralysis, where like you learn and learn and learn and learn and learn, but you're not like putting it in place. So I'm going to talk a little bit about that. So first thing I want to make sure everyone has seen your emails or a post somewhere in the team page or any team page is the call with Paul Wednesday night. Oh, that's Diesel. He says hi. The call with Paul on Wednesday night. So it's going to be they didn't really say, but obviously he's probably going to get us all hyped up, get us excited about Heat. And Heat is supposed to be released the very next day. So I'm kind of curious if they'll release it that night. Like sometimes they do that when the call's over, they throw it out, but I don't know. They did publicly say several times it was going to be the 12th that it's going to be released. So make sure you have the information about Paul's call. Excuse me.
And I think it's at noon Central Time.
Oh, wait, really? A detail that I missed? You're right. Noon Central, Wednesday at noon. Thanks, Lisa. So wouldn't that be awesome though then if they release it at noon on Wednesday, like a day ahead?
Tanya put it in the chat too. I just jumped in.
Oh, thank you. Okay. I knew I should have pulled that up before I got on here, but I didn't. Yeah. So also, well, with it being noon on a Wednesday, I don't know. It's probably going to max out at some point. So we'll look for bridge lines and stuff too. But I do know they did whatever it was they had to do to make even more lines than normal. So we'll see. I think there'll be plenty of people on it because of Heat coming out. So he's calling it a leadership call. So who knows? Diesel must really want to talk to you guys tonight. He's in the other room and he's just making a bunch of noise. Okay. And so then Heat is coming out on the 12th, if not a little bit earlier. I've seen lots of people sharing stuff in their stories. Get on my VIP list. There's all kinds of different ways you can go about a new product launch. But the thing that's really important is that you do something, like something. I don't care how you do it, but make sure you're doing something to get people excited. Heat is going to be, I think, more popular than chill because Heat is going to indicate higher metabolism. It's going to, that to people is going to mean weight loss, which it doesn't really necessarily mean that, but that's what people are going to think. But something to keep in mind with Heat. It is not meant to be taken in the morning with your 3 steps. Okay, the whole idea behind Heat, and maybe they'll go over this tomorrow. And if not, there's the whole YouTube video that Jason did where he talked about it. When you take your 3 steps on a regular basis in the morning, that stokes your metabolism. By the way, just getting up in the morning and moving stokes your metabolism, right? So your metabolism goes up. Well, as the day goes on and you start to eat and you start to get tired, it comes down. So the ideal behind Heat is at around 2, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, you could take Heat and spike it again so it stays up a little longer. So you stay in a more metabolic state for a longer period of time. It could also be used as a pre-workout. So it's going to have several uses. We're going to tell people how to do it and they're going to do whatever they want with it, right? Because that's what they always do. But just so you know, that's what it's for. It is to elevate your metabolism, but you don't want to waste the product or waste someone's money by having them take it early in the day when they've already taken their 3 steps. It's something to elongate the period of higher metabolism. So keep that in mind. The other thing that's coming up this week is actually tomorrow. It's an auto ship. So make sure you have checked your auto ship customers for tomorrow. I'm sure you guys all have because I know we've done power plans, but just in case, I wanted to make sure to say that and go over that. So moving into, does anybody have any questions over anything? Oh, is it at noon? Email? Oh, I'm just now getting the chat about if it's noon. Oh, noon Central will be 1 Eastern. Correct. Yes. Yes. Okay. So I want to talk a little bit about, we learn so much on different Zooms, like training Zooms, power planning Zooms, things like that. And I know a lot of people are really good about showing up to the Zoom and taking the notes and all that jazz. I want to make sure that if you are showing up and taking these notes, that you're putting them into play. Like it's one thing to learn. We could learn all day long, but if we're not putting it into play, it's not going to matter. Part of the time, I personally get overwhelmed by the amount of training that is at our fingertips. Like I'm glad it's there because if I'm having a day where I need picked up or there's something new coming out, I can access it. But as far as putting things on my calendar to make sure I'm there, I don't make sure I'm at every single Zoom and every single training. That's not going to work with my calendar. Obviously, the ones I lead, I'm going to be there. And even like yesterday, we had a birthday dinner for my nephew. And I was like, that's something that's really important to me. So I'm going to ask someone to step in and take my place, which by the way, Sandra, you did fabulous. Thank you a million times over. But so I want you to really think about what Zooms you're showing up to. Are they adding to the action steps that you're able to do during the day? Or is being on the Zoom becoming the action step? Does that make sense? Like, is it almost more important for you that you're on the Zoom than taking what you're learning on the Zoom and doing something? I don't know if Diesel wants to teach you guys something tonight. Come here. He's just outside the door barking. So one of the things that I was like reading about is when you set goals and you set like action plans for your business or yourself or, whatever, maybe it could be your business goal or it could be like a health goal. It could be something like that. For every 20 to 30 minutes, yes, balance for sure. We'll talk about that. But one of the things is to basically raise your standards. So start to realize who you are and how you identify yourself. Okay. So for example, if someone were to light a cigarette right now and hand it to me, I would be like, oh no, thanks. I'm not a smoker. Like, I'm not a smoker. Like, I don't question that. That's who I am. That's a non-question in my life, right? I'm not a smoker. So when somebody says to me, oh, we have 18 Zooms a week, I'm not a Zoomer, okay? Like, I want you to think how you're setting your standards of the time that you're spending. So are you on the Zoom, like instead of being like, I'm somebody who shows up to all the Zooms and learns all the things, is that who you are identifying as? Or are you going to raise your standard and say, I go to Zooms to learn. I only go to 2 Zooms a week because my calendar is so busy. I would rather people be doing a Facebook Live, hosting a local, talking in their stories. I would much rather you spend that time versus being on another Zoom, learning something new or hearing something new, because almost all the Zooms are recorded. So if you have downtime, you could always get to those Zooms. You could always get to that motivation, that learning and all that stuff. But if it is starting to eat away at your own personal work schedule, then that's no good. So, because I know a lot of us work jobs. So if you already have, this big chunk of day has to be at work. This big chunk of day has to be feeding the family, driving the kids, all doing whatever it is. And you have this little chunk left in the day for your business. Don't use that little chunk for Zoom after Zoom after Zoom after Zoom after Zoom. Okay. You guys, unless you're new, which I know all the faces I see are not new, but you might be watching this and you might be new. Unless you are new, you know what needs to be done. You know how to do it, where to do it, you know what to do. So I want to make sure, bye. I want to make sure that you, like Sandra was talking about, for every 30 minutes that you've spent on a Zoom, that you then also are spending that time working. So if you look at your calendar, which I know we talk about our calendars a lot. I don't know how many people actually work off their calendar, but if you're looking at your calendar and you identify that from noon to 1, you could work on your business, but you end up doing a lunch and learn. And then you identify that you have 30 minutes on a Monday that you could do your business, but you end up on the team Zoom. You don't have any time to actually work your business. Okay. So let's really focus on being balanced with that. I love the Zoom. I love all the different Zooms. I love all the different leaders. I mean, I love the motivation. I love learning from people. I get that. I really do. But I also know that it's easy to get lost in all of that. And it's really easy to spend a lot of time in the Zooms versus actually doing all the things that need to be done. So think about raising your standards of how you're spending your time. And you guys don't ever feel like, so if you get on someone's Zoom, let's say you're like, okay, I've allocated 30 minutes for a Zoom today and it just happens to be XYZ. And you get on there and that Zoom isn't going where you want, or that Zoom is about a topic you've already heard, or, whatever, get off. It's okay to get off the Zoom. It's okay. Be like, you know what, this isn't going to add anything to me today. I'm going to do better if I spend the next 20 minutes sending out reach outs. So working on your business and working in your business are two incredibly different things. And you've got to make sure that you are in your business, I would say 60 to 70% of the time, and working on your business the remainder of the time. It's very easy to constantly be trying to make a graphic or think of something new or listening to, someone talk or blah, blah, blah. But if you're learning how to do a graphic for 3 hours a week and you end up the next week learning how to do TikToks, but you never made a graphic from the week before, that kind of thing. So try to be guard your time wisely. Make sure you're using that time that you have to work on your business to actually work on your business. So for example, tonight, I don't want to have a super long Zoom because my whole point is I would rather you spend some time tonight doing some of your reach outs because I have you're captive, right? You're in front of your computer, you're already in work mode, you're thinking about Thrive. Like, work in your business tonight instead of on it. I also want to point out that when I talk about self-development and I talk about training for Thrive, those are two different things to me. I think we've talked about that before. If you have on your calendar or your daily routine that you're going to do 20 to 30 minutes of self-development, and that is maybe listen to a book while you go for a walk or something, don't pull away from that. That is super important because the more you develop yourself, the more you're going to be able to add value to people, which is what will bring people to you for this business. But it's when you start getting into all these training Zooms where you start to follow all these different leaders, and then you start to and we've all done it. Like, you listen to someone's Zoom, and you're like, wow, they were amazing. So then you go find them on Instagram. So then you get into their story, and then you're like, well, they did this. Well, maybe I should try that. I guess that's the finest form of flattery. But at the same time, anytime I have copied something that someone else already did, it never feels right when I post it or share it. I don't know. People have never said anything like, where'd you get that from? That didn't sound like you, but I just know in my heart, it wasn't me. You know what I mean? Like, it just seems weird. So I think that it's really good to be inspired, and I think it's good to learn, but please make sure you're spending time actually doing your 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, doing the 3, 2, 1s, all that stuff versus just hearing someone tell you over and over and over to do it. Like, I feel like sometimes our Zooms get very redundant. I don't feel like you need to be on all the power planning Zooms. I mean, I'm not on all of them. I'm not expecting, I don't feel like I have to be on all the lunch and learns because, again, they're all recorded. You could pick them up on a Thursday night when you had some free time. You could listen to it as you fall asleep one night. Just make sure you're actually using your calendar and your time blocking in your calendar for productive, true in the business work. So sometimes I think, like, an easier way to explain this, I think what's tricky with our Thrive business is that we can do it anywhere, anytime, but we also can do lots of other things anywhere, anytime. So if you think about like your job, like your regular job, and maybe you don't have a job anymore, but think back when you did, you clocked in and you clocked out, right? You were there, you had to work, you did whatever it was. Maybe you were cleaning houses, maybe you were teaching children, whatever it was, you were in the zone. That was work. You could on the weekends maybe learn about a new cleaning hack, or maybe you would get a lesson plan ready, but that was working on your job, not in your job, right? The majority of your time was spent in your job. That's where you made your money. And it's the exact same thing here. That's why, yes, researching TikToks is fun. Yes, listening to Lunch and Learns is fun, but in Messenger, when you're in Messenger and you're working on your, like actually in your job and you're really talking to people, that's where you're going to make your money. So just make sure you're keeping a balance between your activity and your planning. I don't know what is it a full moon? The dogs are like super wild now. They're going to start fussing, I think, in a minute. I have my zapper ready. So anyway, Sandra had to go. She's at her dad's. Do any of you feel like maybe you spend a little more time on Zooms than in your business? Yeah. So think about that. I'm not telling you to, hop off all the Zooms, but I would maybe take your Zoom list and cut it in half. And here's the thing too that I want to address, because I know sometimes people are like, well, I want to be on the Zoom because I want to support her, whoever she is. That's awesome. That's not what you're here for. You are not here to support me or anyone else on a Zoom. Like, we love your face and I appreciate when I see you here, but that is not what you're here for, right? You're here to grow a business. So again, I would much rather you be listening to the recorded Zoom when you are brushing your teeth and getting dressed for work in the morning, because you can do that. I get more Zoom time in when I'm doing laundry, driving a car, like that kind of stuff. Versus if I have time to sit at my desk like this, I better be working. Like I better actually be working. I better be talking to people. I better be following up on orders. I better be making sure auto ships are ready. I better be writing thank you notes. Like I better actually be doing the do. Like you hear Mario say it all the time, do the do, do the do. It's a great catchy line. People say it, everyone loves it. Nobody likes to actually do it, right? It's not as much fun, but I promise it really is if you get into the habit of doing the do, like actually doing the do. I can tell you now from doing this for 6 years, of all the Zooms I've been on, of all the people I've talked to, of all the people I've interviewed, no one has ever shared a secret that made their business boom, ever. Think about it. All the Zooms, has anyone ever shared a miraculous script, a post, a graphic, a way to pose in a photo? No, because there is no such thing. The people who you see grow their business are constantly hustling and doing what needs to be done. The fun stuff and the non-fun stuff, scheduling a local, doing a live, interviewing somebody. There are so many things that you could be doing during the day, and you guys all already know what they are. You already know the list of things you could be doing. So next time you feel yourself drawn to a Zoom, ask yourself, do I need to be on it right now? Like that would be the first thing I would say. Do I need to be on this right now? And if the answer is no, like, no, I know it's going to be recorded. What else could I do with my time? So like tomorrow at noon, when Paul, or 1 our time, when Paul's talking, yeah, if you can be on, that's great, because he's going to be dropping some stuff, hopefully in real time. And you guys, I'll be the first one to say this, and I'm even posting this on YouTube. I hang up on Paul. There are times when Paul gets on those calls and he just gets off on a tangent, and I hang up on Paul. And I just like peek back on the group page later to see if something really happened. Like, did Paul actually do something today that I need to know about? So there's going to be times like that where you're just going to have to be like, I'm working. I'm busy. I'm too busy for this nonsense right now. It's like what I try to remind myself sometimes. Like, I don't have time for this right now. I can listen to that when I'm driving. I can listen to that when I'm taking a shower. So the first thing I would say is ask yourself, do I actually need to be on this Zoom right now? And I will tell you straight up, all of our Monday night Zooms are recorded. All of my Sunday power plans are recorded. So you do not in any way, shape, or form have to be on while it is happening. I have to because I'm doing it, but you don't have to. So I want you to think about that, because I feel very supported. I do. Like, our team shows up for stuff and I super appreciate it, but I want to make sure people aren't using that time when they could be doing something different. So think about that. Think about your calendar, where you're spending it, how you're allocating your time and using your time, because I know that every last one of you are busy. You have a lot of stuff going on in your life, whether it's family, work, whatever. So what time you dedicate to this business, I want it to be for you, about growing your business, about finding new customers, talking to more people, growing your team. Zoom is what you can listen to when you brush your teeth. Okay. So I don't know, some leaders would probably disagree with me and be like, absolutely not. You need to be on the Zoom every morning, blah, blah, blah. And that's totally up to you. But I will just reiterate, if you're spending more time on Zoom than you are in your business probably is not where you want it to be. So that's where I will leave that. So it's only 7:50. I didn't go till 8 o'clock. That's 10 free minutes right there. I'm going to challenge all of you right now to send out 10 reach outs in the next 10 minutes. So when I post this recording, comment in the recording if you got your 10 reach outs in 10 minutes. And I know you can do 10 reach outs in 10 minutes. Okay. Bye.